like to begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item is approval of the agenda. We have one addition under number 3, and it'll be number B, RJL Solutions. Jonathan Blake's here for an update. Any others? Hearing none. Oh, bridge inspection. Okay, Steve, let's just put you down as C underneath that, get through that. Okay, any other additions, changes?
I'll make a motion.
I second that.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Gloria Rahman.
Thank you. So I'm here on behalf of Greg Schneier. He was here at your other meeting about they requested to vacate some streets in Leopold. I believe it was, rescheduled or tabled for today is what Greg told me. So I don't know if you all were gonna go out and look at the town or not.
We did.
Okay, so Greg gave you all a packet, I
Yes.
think, with everything in it. So the request is still the same, to vacate parts of Caroline Street, Washington Street, and Rome Street. These are the Kirk and Linda Wheeler, who own some lots in that area. So they're still requesting the same request, that they be vacated. And then half of Washington Street would go to the Wheelers and half would go to their neighbors to the east. Half of Caroline Street would go to the Wheelers and then their neighbor to the west. And then Rome Street is actually bordering where the town plat is. So I believe there's a request that I can't really go outside the town, so that would all come to the respective part, to the Wheelers and then to their appropriate neighbors then. So the request is still the same, that those streets be vacated.
What we did is we reached out to David Lynch, and he had actually surveyed in the area earlier, and he found his pin and he marked it for us so we could find where the actual corner of the property is, and it's to the, and I'm going to call it the south. I think it's to the south there. So we went out and took a look at the road and where it would actually fall within that scope of it. And I think the concern of the neighbor, from what Becky and I, there's a pipe on, I believe it's Ohio Street, culvert that's already there. And then if you walk probably 100, 150 feet up the road, there's another area where it appears people have been going into his property. Now, we didn't see a culvert in that area, but it is flat. So, you know, it may or may not be there. For some reason, they're driving through to that. From what we discovered from that point, the trailer that's currently sitting there is partially on both sides of their property. So it would actually, the separation line would go through the trailer on the photos that was sitting there. So the gentleman to the west should have sufficient roadway, if he chooses, to continue to drive up through where currently the street lays, to access both the upper section, and he could also access it by Ohio. So
It's a little hard there on the one where the corner is, because there's a fire hydrant right there. So my suggestion, and this is what I think would work, but now it's not up to me, is it's 50 feet on there, 25 feet to each landowner, and have the county go up there and put in so far up they can get with Mr. Rainbolt and find out where he wants a culvert put in so he can have access that way to his property.
Off of Caroline,
Yes.
okay. Now is that, and I might ask the Wheelers, did he access it? Because I know it's a steep bank there, did he access off of Caroline, or did he like go, or is it too steep? And he was, I think he was cutting the corner, I think. is
Well,
what
right now
he
they
said.
have the trailer blocked, so he can't access his property.
And a pile of rock.
Okay,
And then he also he's got a lot of vegetation.
Mm-hmm.
In order to access, that's gonna have to be cut out in order to go up
okay,
the road. I mean, it's obvious it hadn't been
Hasn't been.
accessed for a
Right.
while.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But vegetation grows quick.
But we have to have, we would like to have his approval on this. I said something at our last meeting as far as if we would split that and give you 25 feet and your joining landowner 25 feet. And he said, well, he didn't have, no way to get in there, so we can have the county put in a culvert big enough, it wouldn't take over a 6-8 inch culvert to go in there.
If it's even needed.
If it's even needed.
There may be a culvert in underneath all that vegetation.
Yes,
We couldn't see it.
okay.
but if he would agree to that, I think that would be a fair solution.
Right, also, I pointed out Ohio Street runs to the west. Ohio continues to the west. And it would, to me, for the best access to that property would be to open it up, Ohio, open that up so that he can make a big loop right up in there or get up into his property. Because the access that he wants, it just isn't conducive for the water table yet because of our house is dug into the hill, the mountain. In southern Indiana, it's a pretty good sized hill. And the water table rises as we get rain. And just a couple days ago, we got 3.5 inches of rain. In April, we got 19 plus inches of rain. And so the water table is quite high and the ground just weeps of water until that water table goes down. So there's no way he's gonna be able to make loops in and out right there because it's a 90-degree turn. And what I watched was a 1-ton truck trying to get a fifth-wheeler trailer out of there and went over the side of the bank and tore it all up. And we're doing the best we can to just maintain it and try and, the side slope is so delicate, you can't take a mower up and down there. So it's, weed eating a long stretch. And we've been taking care of it since we bought the place we bought it in November 2019. But so from the spring of 2020, we've been taking care of it for the last 5 years. And when we got there was no grass. So, it's a really delicate, soil area and not conducive to a lot of traffic. If you put a culvert, there was a ditch, a little bit of a ditch there that's just north of Ohio where the overgrowth is. There's a lot of overgrowth up in there. And that culvert, it's just a big culvert, probably 9 inches, but about at least half of it is filled in with silt.
Are you talking about the north
That's on the
On up the
corner there,
road?
Randy, where the
Right.
fire hydrant's at.
at Ohio
Exactly.
Street?
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that culvert, but then as we went on up the hill, there's a flat area that looks like there's no
It's like
ditch in it.
It's like a drive.
Yeah, and that still he should have access to. Once it's split 25-25, he'll have 25 foot wide to, if he wants to put a road in and go up and turn in, he can.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the ditch in that is set in, it's not a major ditch even to begin with, that runs down the hill. And so he should be able to have access to the upper part and also on Ohio Street but you're gonna have to clean out the vegetation in that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's overgrown.
That'd be Mr. Rainbow, if
Yeah,
he gets that
right.
25
Yes.
feet.
Right.
If you vacate it, as we're requesting, that he would get 25 feet, that he could still
Do whatever you
use
want to
to
do.
access his
Mhm.
side, and Mr. and Mrs. Wheeler would have their 25.
But Randy, would we have to have
So,
Steve to put a culvert in there since it actually, before this all goes through, because it still
Well,
is a street?
The question becomes right now, what I'm thinking about is that he may or may not want that vacated, where it still becomes a platted road, half of it. That's what we did out on Boundary Lane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we vacated half of a road,
Yeah.
instead of the entire road. Because the other people with the property owner, what happens to him, he would gain access to the property, but he also is going to find that he has more acreage.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Both parties will have more acreage,
Right.
or have to be
so
listed
in
in the.
this instance, because I think they want to proceed, I would suggest we vacate half of the road that impacts them. And then he can, if he
We
wants
can make
it,
that decision.
you know, we can vacate the other half, or it can continue as it is, you know, as a platted city street in Leopold. That way we're not doing something that impacts him in any real way. And
So
then
you would vacate the half on the east side.
east side,
That
yes.
borders the Wheelers, and then leave Mr. Rainbolt's
As is for the time being.
And you can always come.
He can come back and ask us to vacate it, which I think we're fine with doing that.
But he's gonna have access to his property, which that trailer or pile of gravel is gonna have to be
The
moved.
trailer, I can move the trailer, that's not a problem. I know that I've got another lane on the other side of the house, and I moved the trailer back and forth because of the weather. And honestly, I've not seen Rainbow back there until, he had a tree that, you can see a big maple tree that came down part of it, and it was over the trailer, by the pine tree, or the maple tree right next to it. I mean, that tree came down, so there was, most of the winter time, it was a January storm that brought that.
And he may never choose to use it, but we can't block that access to it.
Yeah.
Right, I understand that,
Okay.
and I'm happy to move, because that trailer, I utilize it to load my ATV and my wagon, so I can haul wood from my other property out to 66.
Yeah.
So,
How do we
This
want to
is-
contact Rainbolt, by letter or
Probably by letter.
by letter?
And just state what we've done.
I think you,
We okay with that?
Would you want to put a culvert in for him on the upper end?
Let's see what he
Let's
decides
wait and
first.
see what he wants to do.
Okay.
As long as it's still, the half of the road's in the city, he doesn't have access to it, so we can deal with that, depending on what he wants to do.
What he wants to do?
Yeah.
Because that where the fire hydrant is, I can't see any drive up through there at all.
there was a track of his son who was living there, used to access right up there at the corner, just be right at the corner of Caroline and Ohio. And it's like a 2-track that goes up there. You can't see it now for the overgrowth, but,
So,
So the-
I'd entertain a motion to vacate the property for the Wheelers and the Bowers. That's the two affected parties, right?
Yes, yeah. And I think it's Bowers. and
Rome to the north,
Charles Gordon and Helen Bauer. So
the Washington, and half of Carolina to
Mhm.
the east. The eastern
East
half of Carolina.
Mhm.
So,
And then I think Rome is on the north.
North.
Did you say Rome? Rome,
Yep.
okay.
the entire
All
Rome,
of Rome, that
from
borders.
Carolina,
Yeah, because I think that road goes right through yards.
yeah,
Yeah, so it'd probably just be, can I say Rome up to the east, with including the east half of Carolina, not
Right.
the whole,
Right.
not the whole
Not the whole.
Right.
Carolina.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Make a motion?
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now,
I think Greg had prepared some ordinances that he had given to you, I think, but they're not correct now.
that's what I mean.
So I had
And
to
we,
change
we would
those.
have to change them to reflect that,
Yeah.
and then, we have to get it filed with the recorder.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and the last time you did the one on Boundary Way, you did all the work for us.
I think we did.
I think Andrew took a look at it, and he was good to go, so if you
We
could,
can use the same process if that's okay?
Yep.
works for
that'll
me.
work.
Okay, all
Thank you.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item up, we have RJL Solutions.
Morning.
Morning.
So before you is a copy of the monthly report that I sent to you via email last week. Just wanted to highlight a couple of things. I guess to start off, for the record, Jonathan Blake, RJL Solutions, with offices at 150 West Market Street in Indianapolis.
Jonathan,
Yes,
last time there were a couple people that were listening, had a hard time understanding me. Could you speak up so that
yeah,
everybody that's on the video can hear?
absolutely. Happy to do that. So back on the 22nd, I was here, I presented before the county council, gave an update from our work through April. That day, I also had a chance to meet with the Perry County Chamber of Commerce and Gary Grubel over at Wapaka Foundry, just kind of talk about some of the issues and concerns that they have, with the former Lido and with where they see the county going in the future, everything from infrastructure needs to workforce development, and had really productive conversations with all of them. Following that meeting, I actually am scheduled to tour the Wapaka Foundry on the 26th of this month. So looking forward to engaging with them and learning more about what they do there. From the Lido transition standpoint, we did file the articles of incorporation based on the resolution that was passed by the commissioners last week at your special meeting, officially incorporating Perry County Economic Development, Inc., the nonprofit that will lead economic development work for the county moving forward. We received the certificate of incorporation from the state Friday afternoon. So that's been taken care of, and now we'll work on getting a meeting of that board set up so we can move that entity forward. From the Project Falcon standpoint, we were in communication with the site selector last week. He did inform us that they have received all the information they need from us and the county, and that they also received the incentive letter or final incentive letter from IEDC, have turned all of that over to their client for review. Regarding business recruitment and attraction, we're evaluating 2 projects right now for the county. One is Project Locksmith 2, which is an existing building search, would be about a $25 to $30 million investment in capital, and would create around 35 new jobs with wages ranging from $20 to $22 an hour. And then we're also evaluating Project Big Ben, which is a textile manufacturer, another existing building search. That'd be about a $10 million investment. Both of those came to us through IEDC, so we're evaluating this for the county and figuring out where they could best be suited. We're also scheduling meetings with local businesses to facilitate business retention and expansion conversations. And then I've been in contact with Mayor Kale and Mayor Graves. Thank you. And we're coordinating meetings with both of those gentlemen as well. One thing that came up out of the county council meeting on the 22nd, there was a conversation between the sheriff and the council regarding some equipment replacement needs. One of the things that I had suggested to Councilor Harding following that meeting was potentially putting together a capital improvement plan that would outline capital improvement needs or asset replacement needs for the county moving forward. I think this would align really well with the commissioner's desire for focus on infrastructure. So everything from water and sewer to roads and connectivity. So that was a recommendation that I had made and wanted to share that with you as well. Really providing that strategic tool for long-term planning related to infrastructure. That really then supports economic development by ensuring that improvements are made where they're needed most, and that those are made in a timely manner. A couple final remarks. I put in the report a comment about some grant opportunities. I've been in contact with Commissioner Cole as well as Councilor Harding regarding some projects that could benefit from grant funding. Current funding opportunity right now is the T-Mobile Hometown Grant, which would offer around $50,000 per awardee for community-based projects. So we've been, through Counselor Harding, we've been in contact with the Derby Association. I believe they're going to be voting this week on whether or not they want to pursue that funding for a project they've got. And then also working on a project Commissioner Cole had identified, really creating what I call more like a cultural trail, highlighting some of the assets and cultural features of the county, including places like Lincoln Ferry Park, the Nestor House, and Hamilton Locks. So working through program, or not a program, but a project description and narrative for that grant opportunity that could then be funded through T-Mobile. So that is a high-level overview of everything that we've been working on, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. On that T-Mobile grant, would that, could that go like for a 4-H?
Depending on what the project is, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It would, what they're trying to achieve is community-based projects that elevate the community either through technology upgrades or programmatic upgrades, or programmatic projects. So that could be some type of youth program or initiative, maybe a capital investment in a youth facility. Could be upgrading technology to expand wireless networks or broadband. It kind of has a broad range of potential. Each community, well, I'm sorry, the grant is limited to one per community. So the county could get one, and then like the Derby Association could get one, and that would not be considered the same. But like Perry County could not have 3 grants under that program at one time. So if there's something offline, I'd be happy to chat offline and figure out what that would be.
Well, I'm going to talk to some 4-H people and see if there's something. What's the deadline on this?
There's not. It's a rolling grant, so just whenever somebody wants to apply. We're going to help the Derby Association if they decide they want to pursue it. We're also obviously pursue one for the commissioners as well as part of our contract. So.
Okay.
So I've got a quick question for you. I know we had discussed it earlier about identifying water and sewer resources here in the county and critical nature, because when these projects pop up and they say, I need 10,000 gallons of water per day, you need to know that that's available and the sewer capacity to handle it also. Have you got that information sorted out yet? Or are you still waiting for it, or where are we at? Because I know it is important.
Yeah, so we've been in contact with the utility providers, and I'm working on getting meetings set up. I have not been successful in getting actual dates yet, but I do have contacts with those individuals. They've been responsive. We're just trying to find a common date for us to meet. But yeah, we are continuing to work on that.
Okay.
And on these projects that IDEC is looking, would they be willing to build on property?
So I need to go back in and look at those. They've classified them as existing building searches.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
But I can look and I'll for you before the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Sometimes they say they want new, sometimes they say they want existing, sometimes they don't care. So let me verify that.
Anything else?
Thank you so much. You've really doing a good job.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
A lot of information.
Next one is Steve Howell, the bridge report.
I just need you guys' signature on the phase 2 bridge inspection that was just completed. I'll be getting memory cards for each of you through all if you want in there.
This is submitted to the state, right?
Yes.
Any comments? They're just great. You just want it signed.
Just need a signature.
I make a motion that we sign it.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item we're gonna have on the agenda is approval of the minutes from 5/20/25.
I'll make a motion.
Second that?
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes from the special meeting 5/28/2025.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the payroll for 5/23/2025 in the amount of $194,453.39.
I'll make a motion.
I second that?
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Payroll withholding for the same date, 5/23/2025 in the amount of $41,649.44.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Dental claims in the amount of $130.61.
I'll make a motion.
I second that?
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Vision claims in the amount of $139.31.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Life insurance claims in the amount of $1,644.40.
I'll make a motion.
I second that?
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Health claims in the amount of $68,775.41.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Solid waste claims, this is for 6/2/2025 in the amount of $7,071.50.
I'll make a motion.
I second that?
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Accounts payable claims for 6/20, I think that's supposed to be 6/02, isn't it?
Yep, 602.
6/02/2025 in the amount of $995,417.76.
I'll make a motion.
I second that?
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Next item up is the Plymouth van. Warren stated something a little earlier. That was the former coroner's van. And he says it's not really, they don't have a title to it and it's of not significant value.
They can't find the title.
Yeah, so we'll have to track the title down in order to do something, even if it goes to the junkyard. I think the BMV can probably
A lost title or
Yeah,
salvage,
lost title.
either one. I'll have to apply for it.
to get it, so. I don't know, it was just parked, I think, probably 5 or 6 years ago, whenever,
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago. And at that time, I guess it was running, maybe not so great. So,
Yeah.
okay, so I don't know whether there's, what value's even there, how we want to go about disposing of it, or if we had another agency that needed it within government or something, we could, if it has any value to them. I don't know. At one time, we talked about potentially the animal shelter using it, but I don't know
Mhm.
what their certain situation is currently or not, or whether,
Well, you said it didn't have very many miles on it, didn't it?
No, I think it's got less than 100,000 miles on it. But those have been really rough miles over some rough terrain. I mean, we used to go through fields and creeks and whatever to get to the location we needed to go. I mean, it's seen those miles have been rough miles.
Is it running? Does it?
No.
It doesn't run
Well,
anything
I
It
now?
won't start.
Won't start?
well, but the battery's
I
probably
think the
down.
battery's dead
Yeah,
because nothing comes on.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter, it may start. Who knows if we want to see, first of all, do we have anyone that would be interested in it? Before, we don't need to spend a lot of money on it just to take it to the junkyard. If we had someone that would have an interest in it, then we could get someone, a mechanic or something, to drop a battery in it. So I think Steve Hauser has a battery or two because he started up the old ambulance for us out there. And he switched the battery off something and got it started. So do we want to send some type of an email on to the different groups? If anybody responds that they have an interest in it, and then
Yeah, I think at the same
Go from
time,
there.
if we get we'll need a title.
Yeah, might as well. We're gonna have the
Yeah.
title.
Yeah, you can send it out and then we can apply for a title. Even if you do take it to the junkyard,
We'll
you're
still
gonna
have
have
to
to have
have
a
some
title.
kind of ownership.
Yep.
Record, so
Mhm.
we can get that started.
Yeah.
So,
Should I send an email out to all the county departments?
yes,
Yeah.
but we want to also include like the solid waste and
Animal
also
shelter.
the animal
The
shelter,
entities we're involved with.
anyone that,
Mhm.
you know, potentially, and if even someone in a charitable function within the county, I mean, if we're not gonna have any real value out of it, if it's something that would help them with their mission,
Yeah,
I don't know. So kind of throw it up and see if anybody responds to us. And
I'll make a motion for that.
I second that.
motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting's Tuesday, June 17th, 2025, 6 PM. Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Steve, here's your paper. You need a copy of that